I got so 18 Honda Accord. There it is. We have a wastegate code. This is the wastegate for the turbo. Now we already unplugged that. We kind of started the process just to loosen these guys up, but we're still in the early stage. So the code is for the wastegate. Dealership that does not sell the wastegate on its own. They sell you the whole turbo. Surprise, surprise. So we do have a original turbo from the dealership, and again, this is the wastegate. So yeah, guys, so we got a wastegate code, so now we're gonna change it. I'm gonna put you guys on the tripod and see if we can tackle this thing real quick. I know we're gonna have to make some room here to start working on this baby. So we're definitely gonna start from here. We're gonna take everything off all the way up to here, and then we gotta take the shields off. We gotta make room and space for it and see what else we got down there. We should have the intercooler piping. So there's a lot of stuff, but we gotta take the stuff off first. And obviously we got clamps here, we got some hoses here. I don't know if I'm gonna take it on the hose or just the sensor itself, but let's get on it. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna be doing is we're gonna take this guy out. Okay, número son 10?
Yes.
All right, we got 2 10s. We got 2 10s here. We're gonna take this guy out. It's easier than playing. We got a little oil residue there. We're gonna put this guy out of the way. Don't hide it too much because sometimes you tend to forget stuff. Not me though, not me. I go back. Vamos a zafarlo aquí. Ya está suelto ahí. Ya, suelta aquí. Peligroso, ¿no? Alright, so we got that out of the way. Got that out of the way. There's gonna be some water loss. We got some water lines obviously going to the turbo, so we gotta play with those. Neta, mira. Let's take the reservoir out. We're not gonna need that. We're gonna have some bolts on the front of the turbo that holds the intake charge pipe. Not charge pipe, the intake pipe. I'm pretty sure I can take it off with it, but we're trying to make room, so no. Busco de una rache o un subo chiquitico. We got O2 sensor right on the turbo. Right on the turbo, we got an O2 sensor. That's gonna be fun. Alright guys, so we took the two balls that hold these lines to the intake of the turbo, the intake pipe. And now we're just unclipping the lines, that way we have more wiggle room to play with them so we can get them off. Dale vueltecita a las líneas en este. Ahí, ajá. You gotta crack them loose before you start pulling on them. Yeah. Yeah. What?
Why you doing all this?
Tiene que darle vuelta igual. Alright guys, so we got the two little hoses loose. So we got that out of the way. Traigan la cajita roja, que es para sacar los sensores. Pínchala lo más para atrás posible. That's the water line. So we're just gonna pinch it, that way it doesn't reduce the amount of mess. Now remember, Honda, it's all 12s everywhere, 10s, 14s, 17s. So I'm trying to take off the shield to expose the turbo bolts. We're going to take the O2 sensor off as well. There we go. Vaya desconectando aquí, mire. Desconecta ahí, pero desconecta aquí para sacar la línea completa, para que no tenga nada.
Ese con suelto.
Sí, nada más desconecta de aquí y hay que sacarla. Well, being the first time that this thing is being taken apart, it's not, the bolts are not too hard. Aprieta bien la... And let's clean this up. The first shield off. So that kind of exposes the turbo, the water lines, the oil lines, all of that stuff.
Yes.
That's the water line. We're gonna come up with it. Miren. Esta línea de aquí. Esta va junta, ¿ves? Esta de aquí abajo. Tiene la presilla ahí. Póngale una clampa aquí. Del otro lado, póngale una clampa.
¿Pero ahí mismo?
Si te da para meterlo por aquí, mira, mejor por aquí. Echando ahí, ponte al lado acá. Trying to clamp down all the hoses. No saca el tornillo. No, mira si la clampita esa la puedes sacar de ahí, la manguera. Alright, so we got the other shield. So now, let me show you guys here. So now, again, we got that hose clamped. We got the turbo manifold off. Oh, not the turbo manifold. The shield's off. We got now the 4 bolts here, and the 2 on the other side for the downpipe, exhaust kind of thing. We clamp the other hose right here. See that hose right there? We clamp that hose so we kind of stop some of the mess of the water again. Now we gotta take the, if I'm not mistaken, this is the oil supply line that goes through the block. So we gotta loosen that guy out. We gotta take these 4 guys out. And then we also got these 4 that hold up the turbo to the head. There's no headers on these things anymore. There's just straight bolt on to the turbo, to the head. So let's see if we can get these 4 guys out. That will make this thing kind of loose a little bit, but we still got that clamp right there where my finger's holding. That's the air pipe. We have to loosen that out. And then this guy here. Alright guys, so we got 14s on the downpipe side. On this side here we got 4 14s, and on the turbo to head we have another 4 14s. There we go. Hopefully they don't crack. Usually this is the crappy part of the job, getting those 4 bolts out. Alright, so we are working on loosening up those 4 bolts. That way we can, there we go. We can take them off, and then we'll separate the catalytic converter downpipe setup from the turbo. Alright, so this is what we're looking at. You know, those 4 bolts right there, and then we have the 4 on this side. 1, 2, 1, 2. So we got those out. So now we're gonna work on this 4, and that should give us at least. And then we already took the oil supply line. We still have to take the drain line off, but we're kind of working on it. Once we get moving on the turbo, then we can see what we're missing. Alright, so we're just encountering a little bit of a hiccup. The hiccup is that this has like 2 support brackets in the bottom, so we have to loosen those to be able to have some wiggle room on the downpipe. We're already taking those out, so that should, you know, give us some movement. But we still gotta loosen up this guy first and see what else we got going on. Alright, so let's lift up the car and go after whatever's holding the downpipe. Alright guys, so we loosen up the downpipe. Basically, loosen it up, get out of the way. Now there's another bolt here at the bottom. That is a bracket that holds the turbo. And I'll show you that on the new turbo so you have an idea where it's at. We are almost there. We got the hose out, so we are almost there. Alright, see that hole right there? That's the back bolt that we're taking out right now. And then we still gotta do the drain line from the oil. This is for the water, and this is the feed line. So yeah, almost there. All right, so sácalo. Dale ahí. Alright, so we got the turbo now. Remember, this is the oil drain line. It has a hose on there. You can see it's this hose right here. And this is the bracket for the back bolt that we got to put on. But that's it. And then this is the water supply out of the water pump. So that's it. Now we got to change. We got to put some of these brackets back on to the new turbo. With the new gaskets and whatnot, and put the stuff back on there. Alright, be right back. Alright guys, so we are almost done on putting everything back together. I'll show you guys how to get it out. Put it back together is the same process. Make sure that you do use the gaskets. Connect your stuff back on. Your hoses where they're supposed to. If you pinch any of the hoses, make sure that you do replace them. Again, we haven't had any pinch holes or anything. We will go over them, make sure that they're not leaking or nothing. And we got some extra hoses here on the box. This is all Honda parts that are going to be put it in there. The customer bought them, so why not? Other than that, we're almost done on putting everything back together up here. You got the heat shields on. Everything is back in lines, everything is hooked up properly. I'm going to be doing the sensor right now, the O2 sensor. And then we should be able to put the intake on and go from there. So right now we're working on putting the bottom together and we should be good. Alright, be right back. Alright guys, so I wasn't able to finish up the install. There she is. The tube is back on, everything's back on in place. Now I do gotta say, I'm disappointed in Honda. They made a small mistake. That is the reason why your turbos get killed so quick. There's a screen that goes on the line that supplies the oil to the turbo on the engine block where it bolts onto. That has a seal with a screen in it, just like the VTEC solenoid, like just a lot smaller screen. Let me see if I can find it so I can show you guys. Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, this is the part number for the little screen, and basically it will be this little guy here. Now see, this one is flat already, and I opened that hole to be able to get it out, but imagine all that screen just full of gummed up oil. You can't see even the metal. Like the mesh for the screen, you couldn't even see it of how full of oil it was. So this is just a really bad design on Honda. And because of that, the turbos tend to fail because they're not running any oil through them. So the shaft starts playing. The turbo that we got off of here, it has crazy amount of shaft play. The wastegate wasn't working. It had a coat for the wastegate. I mean, I just don't think that the turbo was making any boost. You know, there's so much shaft play on it. And again, no oil going through it. The only thing that it had was water going through it. No oil. So, yeah. And again, that's the supply line for the oil from the turbo, from the engine block to the turbo, which is I don't know if you can pick out that bolt there in the center. See that bolt there? That one bolt there. That has the line, and from there it goes to the engine block. And that's what supplies the oil to the turbo. So, big failure there on Honda. They're killing the turbos on this thing, and I'm pretty sure this is the same setup they have for the SIs and the Type R's and whatnot. So if they're using the same setup, you guys, for the Type R's and the SIs, make sure to get those cleaned up. I don't know, probably every 50,000 miles. Clean that out, and same as the BTEC cylinder. That way you have no issues on them. If not, you're gonna be switching turbos by the time you get to 100,000. Alright guys, like always, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.